would you start with the invocation, please?
Yes, sir. Lord, again, we thank you for your presence with us. Just give us those wisdom and guidance to do those things that are pleasing in your sight, in the service of the people of Calhoun County, and we give you praise for how you're going to work through us in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 25th meeting.
So.
Second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. James, you got the committee report?
I did.
Stephen?
No, sir.
John?
Yes.
Ken?
No, sir.
Anybody got any appointments?
I do.
Okay.
I got Miss Jenny Redmond for the museum board.
Okay.
Is that a reappointment or?
That is not a reappointment.
You said library or museum?
No, museum board.
Is that to take someone's place or is that?
I believe that is to take someone's place. I'll find out exactly who that
This is, museum?
is. Museum. Yeah, I'm trying to
start.
start.
Might be
Oh.
taking, what, got elected to town council?
Web Karen,
Karen.
that's probably, yeah.
I'll check on.
All right, have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. No, resolution, confirmation. Okay. Ms. Hawkins, you got something there today?
Just a short report.
Oh,
Okay.
if you'll hold it. Just push the button. Just hold it, don't let it turn green. The light.
Good evening. At your desk tonight is the building and grounds report for October and November of 2019. As you can see, you have 14 work requests in October and 13 in November. All of one of which has been completed at this time. The second item, we're waiting for additional estimates to be received to do the equipment for that particular fix. After that's done, we'll come back to you in December. We appreciate the job that Director Mark Reedman is doing with this department. And I'll take any questions, or we will take any questions that you may have at this time.
Anybody got any questions on the building and grounds?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
No.
You see a little bit different format for the animal control report. What I'm trying to do is kind of move toward performance indicators and have a kind of like a dashboard. And this is a working document. If you'd like to see something different, welcome to let me know, and I'll welcome any changes you may have. I'd like to point out that through November, we've had about a little shy of $4,600 in finance donations, medical donations, impound and boarding fees and restitution, as opposed to about $5,000, a little over $5,000 in medical expenses. And we have seen almost 400 responses to complaints since July 1st. And we've adopted or had redeemed a little over about 120 animals. And we're at full capacity, which is reflected toward middle of the page. And end of November, the capacity is at full. And apparently that kind of stays at the 18 kennels or ones that we have with dogs. So we're gonna work on try to warm this a little bit coming in the future. Y'all have any questions about this information or anything we can follow up for you in animal control services?
Anybody got any questions? Okay, thank you, ma'am. Anybody have any old business come up tonight? Any old business? Any new business, commercial water leak adjustment policy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The water department, Mr. Rucker and Ms. Pencil and Ms. Weeks approached me about Something they've noticed in our policies for the water department, there is no distinction in our current policies between a residential water leak adjustment or a commercial water leak adjustment. And thankfully, it has not led to any problems. We have not had any major commercial water leaks. An adjustment on the bill has been requested. And they have approached me and think it would be wise for us to adopt a policy that distinguishes the commercial water leak adjustments from the residential. And that is before you tonight. And I've asked Mr. Pencil from the water department to come and supplement my remarks with anything or make any comments he might have. So I recognize him right now.
Okay.
Yeah, come up here.
We just felt collectively that it would be a good idea to differentiate the residential water leak adjustments from the commercial water leak adjustments. Because as of right now, the only policy we have is a water leak adjustment policy. And most of our commercial businesses have large taps, 2, 3, some even 8-inch water taps. And residentials are only 3/4. So needless to say, a commercial water leak's gonna dump a lot of water rather than so we need to differentiate that.
What is the difference between this and the residential? I know I had a water leak, it seems like I paid half on the bill, which looks similar to this.
Well, as of right now, the water leak adjustment is, if it goes over $400, if the bill goes over $400, you go down to $200. Or the average of the last 3 months water bill.
That's residential?
Yes, sir, residential, whichever's higher.
Okay.
And right now, if we have a major water leak from a commercial, we're gonna essentially knock them down that they only have to pay a $200 water bill instead of
So that removes
$200,000.
that $200 cap is what it does.
Yes,
They-
sir.
They go have to pay.
They will pay 50%,
Right.
they will pay 50% of what the water bill is, or 3 months prior average, whichever's higher.
I got you.
Okay.
Well, just so I'll understand, both from commercial and residential, and either one you could apply here, if there was some extraordinary leak to where, for whatever reason, it was unfound, and say on residential, you had, say, a $1,500, a very extraordinary bill. If you had that presented to you on a 1 month's leak at a residential, what, in other words, the average is still, it's still the average of the last 3 is still applied?
It'll be the average of the last 3, or back to $200, whichever's greater.
All right.
Residential.
We are currently reading bills electronically, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
By the ride-by method or?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, if y'all see a meter that's running over, do y'all make any adjustments to the meter?
What we do is if we see when we get our reading, if we see a water bill that is extremely high or out of character per se for that residence, we will go and investigate.
Okay, I'll get right. I know in my house in Westminster, I had a leak one time, and they actually, because it's a vacation type home, they actually cut the meter off.
We will too.
Yeah.
What we will
To
do
save money, save the water.
is if the meter is spinning and we cannot get in contact with the customer,
Right.
we will cut it off.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure.
Okay, anybody else got any questions? Do we need to vote? We need to vote on that, don't we?
Yes, sir.
To approve it?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the commercial water leak adjustment policy.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, establishment of the portion of environmental service, position of environmental service.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the recent workshop, you guys may recall, I reported to y'all that I now can definitively say that I have 2.5 years now where the mosquito spraying has now officially gone from what was annually a 4 to 6 month job to where it is now a 7 to 9 month job, if not higher, almost a full-time job by itself. And the number of calls continues regularly now for mosquito spraying. It's now no longer just the part-time situation it was. And we have those services currently housed in our animal control department. Also, I have noted that since I've been here, we haven't really done a whole lot with litter or recycling. And I can tell y'all that we have gotten a noticeable increase of litter complaints in 2019. I have personally received 6 or 7 very large ones. I'm actually going out to look at one tomorrow. And so those calls are continuing to increase. And as y'all know, we've had a presentation of grant funds that through Keep America Beautiful and through Palmetto Pride and other areas, there are funds available that can help us increase the activity we're doing without affecting our budget. If we look into those. And also on the recycling side, we don't do a whole lot right now, and folks are demanding more from that as well. And working through DHEC, I've been told that there might be some funds available that would allow us to increase what we're doing with recycling. It would coincide nicely with what you guys have already approved, which is looking into improving our collection sites. I think between those two things alone, with the backbone of the mosquito services clearly being an almost full-time position by itself now, we have a need to at least explore an environmental services director position, which would combine all of those into one position, which would be a full-time position. And all we're asking from council tonight on this is just to authorize the staff to look into getting a proper job description for it and getting a salary range that would fit in within our compensation plan that we have, the council adopted in this year's budget. And then try to see over the next few weeks if those funds are available that I was just referring to supplement what we're doing to make sure that this is revenue neutral in our current budget and doesn't increase it at all. And then let me come back to y'all at the next meeting and report what we found on that.
Do you think solid waste is gonna come under this as well? Or?
Could, possibly, one day.
Okay.
But for the current.
But I mean, with our current setup, but I mean, I know when we go to the new setup, since you're talking about that, basically all we have left solid waste wise is the sites, right?
That's correct. You know, with all of this, would just be a good basis to start from as we look into this. And like I said, the main backbone of it would be taking the existing resources related to mosquito spraying that are under animal control and using those as a backbone for this position. And again, like I said, I would come back to y'all and we can talk about it then. If those things were all not there and there isn't a whole lot available there and we don't think we can do it without affecting the current budget, then, you know, we can talk about that then. But I would like to at least look into it, get a proper job description and get a salary range and post it and that kind of thing.
You thinking about moving Ron over there?
We would have to post a job. Anyone that would like to could post it. It would be an open position.
Oh, I told you now, we're not hiring anybody else.
Okay.
But the hiring freeze is on.
Well, we're not anywhere close to the hiring yet. We would just be looking at the job description and the salary range right now. That's what.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize the administrator and his staff to look into a position of environmental services director and bring it back to us.
Okay, I have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Okay, ordinance is ordinance 2019-14, second reading. An ordinance to convey 3.24 acres more or less to Newton Truck Parts Incorporated. I have a motion that we approve that.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just 2 items on my report tonight. First, I wanted to let you know that the chairman called me and asked that I put on my report that he wanted to discuss and consider whether or not council wanted to hold the next scheduled council meeting, which will be on Monday, December 23rd. Our ordinance approved holidays for this year are the 24th, 25th, and 26th. So that would be starting the next day. And so per the chairman's request, I put this item out there for y'all to discuss.
Well, we don't come under them, what they do, because we meet a couple times a month plus a special meeting.
Yes, sir.
But I thought that, you know, after talking with Ted, he didn't have a whole lot on the agenda for 23rd, so you know, and that's kinda like a Christmas week, so I thought maybe we could, take that off. Agree to it.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it.
I'll make the motion that we, dispense with the 23rd, December 23rd meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, of course, if something were to come up,
Yeah, we could have-
always retain the right to have a
Yeah,
special.
have a call, have a call meeting. You could get up 3 or something like that.
Yes, sir.
To do it.
The second item is just to let you know, like we always do, the employee Christmas event will be on Friday, December 20th, and I just want to let y'all know that. And it will be at John Ford, as it always is, at 12 o'clock. So,
12 o'clock?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have, Mr.
You got
Chairman.
anything else?
No, sir.
Vanessa, you got anything else? Okay. I got one thing on the executive session is the, transportation matter.
Mr. Chairman, we didn't notify that we could do that,
Well, I gotta let this guy know something about that road there. But well, we just take it up in the meeting, I don't care. I think that that's a problem for the, transportation committee.
Okay.
I mean, don't y'all?
Yeah.
That was my first thought. I was the guy that go to translate.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if y'all would like me to, I'd be happy to take that to talk to, Mr. Kett and, give him the proper contact information for the CTC.
Okay, how about I do that?
Yes, sir.
You don't mind?
Happy to do it.
Just go in. I don't know, he says it's District 1, but I don't know whether I represent across that road or not. I know I go up to 601.
Yes, sir.
But
I thought it was actually in my district.
It might be your district, I don't know.
I wish we could get some information on how many homes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, we
I
can
mean, although we can't do nothing, we can
Yeah.
recommend
Well,
it.
if we can get those guys to fix the road, let's just get them to fix the
I
road.
will certainly take a look into this, Mr. Chairman. First thing, I will call him tomorrow.
Okay, I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Ed, y'all got anything y'all, you ask any questions?
Yeah, on the rate thing come out, for residential, it's $200 or more, our real average 3 months,
Yeah.
and then commercial is,
The commercial one will be 50%
generally,
of the bill,
Uh-huh.
or the average 3 months,
Copies.
whichever is higher.
okay, all right, good, thank you, that's all I have.
Y'all want a copy of that? Brandon, y'all want a copy of that?
Yeah,
I've got
I
it.
guess we could have, but I can take a picture on the phone.
Hey,
But Dan, I'll
Ed, you
email
can
it
have
to you.
mine.
Okay.
Oh, okay, all right,
Bradley, you can have mine, whatever.
okay, all right, okay, thank you.
We got that.
Have a motion, we adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, everybody have a Merry Christmas.